Hello, this is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Today I want to show you the initial checkout of an A&E 3-slot payphone, but this has got the factory conversion on it to a touch tone. So it's a really cool phone, and it's kind of caught in the middle of some payphone models, but this is an LPC 7255, and basically this is Roger's telephone from Texas, and Roger sent me the boards to this telephone, and basically the network was not sent. So I did some troubleshooting on the board and didn't see any apparent on the boards that he sent. No apparent reason why it wouldn't fire and dial out. He's having a problem with the dialing and this telephone not dialing out. And I guess somewhere he has heard that the keypad or board that goes along with the keypad had a lot of problems and, you know, a lot of different issues. Most of the time when it comes to these payphones, a lot of the times it can be a wiring conflict, because if you see, he still has a lot of the relays hooked up, and kind of give you a look at everything here. He's got his network involved. He's got the relay in there for your change, and he also has his coin validator. And so all the connections are still on the coin validator, and so, you know, most of the time it runs into wiring conflicts when it's at this point. And this is exactly the reason why I don't use schematics. If you don't have a photographic memory, you pretty much try to have one. And so basically I've been working on this stuff so long that after a while you just pretty much you know, have to troubleshoot it out, and you can pretty much spot the wiring issues or the wiring conflicts that are involved in these telephones. Now, this telephone has a you know, it doesn't look real pretty right now, but this is the initial checkout, and we're in the middle of a wiring troubleshoot and stuff like that, just troubleshooting the whole telephone. I have a line cord going onto the connections there. That's just a shop wiring harness, and that's just to make a connection. He does have a black modular plug line cord coming out that we do have installed right now, and my wiring harness here is not connected at this point. One issue with this telephone is it needs a bridge rectifier. It does not have a bridge rectifier. It's not bridge rectified protected, and it needs to be. Now, whether Roger wants to leave the black modular line cord on this telephone, that's fine, or if he wants to opt for a modular port installed right at the back like we install them. So I'll get with Roger on that and we'll find out. The other issue is this telephone does not have a bell, so I'm going to have to talk to Roger about that. He may not, you know, want a bell installed in this. He may have a situation where he has an external bell, like they used about 80% of the time with these telephones. So it's a very cool telephone, and we're just going to get him squared away. This is the initial checkout and troubleshooting process that we have to go through. I also want to spin his body around here and kind of give you a look at what we've got going on. We've got our board here that creates our oscillation for our tone, and you can see the tunable situation going on the board. You can also see our keypad up here. Just trying to give you a little look at everything as I run through it. And then we have our wiring harness that runs over to the telephone that plugs in, and that plugs the body to the base of the telephone, so we have that issue. And then all of our connections that I showed you a little earlier with a coin validator. So I mean, you can get schematics to these, and I'm not saying don't use schematics. What I'm saying is a lot of times when you get a schematic, they won't be right. And I've had customers pay for schematics and go through 2 or 3 different types of schematics and find out none of them are working, and then they end up sending their telephone in. You know, on a perfect case, you might find a schematic to one of these, and or to any payphone, and it might be worth having. A lot of times through the years, things got changed. Things didn't always, it didn't always get written down, or a schematic made of the changes. So a lot of different things happened. I don't really bother with them. They're kind of a waste of my time. I don't have time to. I'd much rather track the lines down and figure out the situation individually with each individual telephone, because you never know what you're going to find, and you never know, what somebody might have done. You might have had a schematic, and and everything was right on it, but yet the person who wired it improperly, made a mistake. So it can get technical, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of wiring here. So you can get lost in the wiring if you don't watch out. Now, one issue is with this board, with these tunable coils here, basically what happens is people try to adjust these, and these create your frequency for your tone. And once these plugs have been adjusted on, they'll break. And I've noticed this one has a crack in it here. So, it's best to stay away from the tunable coils if you can. They're preset pretty much of the time, and if they're not firing, it's probably another reason why it's not firing. So it's best not to tune on them. They usually tune them once. They tune them at the factory, and sometimes they'll set them in a little, put a little something on them to get them to set properly or to stay where they're at. And when you go to adjust on them, they'll just break. And once they're broke, you got to replace them. So unless you find the exact ones, because they used a couple of different ones on all these telephones through the years, you may not find the exact coil. And if you need one, hopefully you could find it, but you just never know. Anyway, this is the initial checkout. We're going to be doing, I'm in the process of troubleshooting it, and at this point it looks like a wiring conflict. So I'm going to show you something here real quick. I have the telephone plugged in. I want to give you dial tone here. We have dial tone, and this is what I'm going to reach around, and this is what it does when you try to dial a number. And so basically it has transmit 1, 2, 3. Another issue is, I'm going to show you real quick here, since I have a wiring harness on it right now. I'm going to unplug the black modular line cord, and I'm going to plug in my line cord, which is a shop wiring harness cord for the line out. I'm going to go ahead and what I want to show you here real quick, I'm trying to dial now. It's not breaking dial tone. But just to show you, it's not wired improperly on the line cord, I want to switch them around and show you it does the same thing. So it's not, although this needs a bridge rectifier to protect the polarity for the circuitry on this telephone, it's not a simple thing as just turning the line cord around, the tip and ring around, because that's not the issue. It's a actual wiring conflict, and it's further on down into the circuitry. So we'll speak to Roger about what's going on and what he wants done. Number one, we have to repair this wiring conflict so that he's able to dial out, and then kind of go with the rest of the situation if there's anything else that needs to be done. But most definitely a bridge rectifier needs to be installed in the circuitry here, or he's going to plug it into a situation somewhere, and this telephone's not going to dial out. And so we need to protect the polarity and make sure that we feed the circuitry the proper signal at all times, no matter where it's plugged in. This is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. This is Roger's A&E 3-slot payphone with a factory conversion to touch tone, an LPC 7255. Very cool telephone. Anybody would want this, any collector. It's just a great telephone. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.